About our respect messages, they determine your communication effectiveness by Peter Gerlach. Lesson 2.9b. Lesson 2 of 7. Learn to communicate effectively from the website Break the Cycle. As always, the sources are down below. Okay? Skipping the first paragraphs and going to the premises. Any perceived human behavior that causes emotional, spiritual, or physical change in another person's is communication. Living things communicating to feel needs, for example, which means to reduce or avoid discomforts. Infants, kids, and adults semi-consciously decode up to 4 messages at once from each other. What you feel, think, and need, and how you feel about you, me, now. These messages are interpreted from our face and voice dynamics, body languages as you communicate, and also the energy. All kids and adults need to feel respected by themselves and each other. When people feel inferior or disrespected by their communication partners, their emotional level may rise above their ears, and their abilities to hear and communicate effectively can plummet. Starting in infancy, we instinctively interpret signals from our eyes, ears, skin, and judge how our communication partners feel about us at the moment. We unconsciously decode others' eyes, face, bodies, and sounds, including silence, to mean one of. I'm one up superior to you right now. My needs, opinions, worth, and welfare are more important to me than yours. One up messages are implied when another person's awareness bubble seems to exclude us now or over time. The extreme form of one up our message is decoded as you are not aware of my feelings and needs. I don't exist. Or we silently judge what the other person feels. I'm one down, inferior. To you now, your needs, opinions, worth, and welfare are more important to me, and mine are. Someone whose behavior implies this R message can focus mainly on their partner's thoughts, feelings, needs, and actions. As a one-person awareness bubble, this is a chronic. It suggests the condition of codependence relationship addiction. A common symptom of psychological wounds. Communication is the most apt to be effective in each other steadily decodes this. Which means I feel we are equals. In a human dignity and worth now, I rank your needs, opinions, worth, and welfare as being just as important as mine. When partners share this mutual respect attitude, they can be said to exchange equal R messages, respect messages. Okay? Most people like you aren't aware of the R messages they exchange and how powerful they affect communication outcomes and relationships. Same-based wooden adults and kids are often unconsciously misinterpreted other people's behaviors to mean I'm one up, I don't respect or care about you. Then their personality subcells react with hurt, resentment, aggression, and or withdrawal. Typical survivors of childhood neglect, GWCs, will earnestly say, I respect and care about you, but their non-verbal behavior says, my needs, opinions, and worth are more important to me than yours are. If chronic or denied, this kind of confusing double message degrades communication and relationships. Personal wound recovery raises self-respect and compassion, and reduces double messages over time. Respect zones. If any relationship, there are different respect zones or levels. Depending on our roles, expectation, and values, we can feel disrespected for someone. As a whole person, I don't respect Pat at all, or as a female or male, boy or girl, man or woman, or in one or more social roles like maid, patient, siblings, friend, co-worker, boss, neighbor, salesperson, voter, service provider, customer, client, stranger, foreigner, authority, etc. Max is a good person and father. As an irresponsible mechanic. So one person may respect another as, say, a human, a man, a woman, or a Muslim, and disrespect them as sister, co-worker, citizen, lawyer, and so on. In important cases, using awareness and meta-talk skills to discern what respect zone is causing one up and one down, our messages can help to spot and solve communication problems. Implication. If you want to improve your communication effectiveness, start paying attention to A. the R messages you receive and send, and B. the results, who gets their communication and others' needs met. Are you motivated to do this now? No. What mean you are dominated by a well-meaning false self? If you are motivated, see lesson 1. Response options. If you perceive significant one up or one down R messages from a communication partner, you can check to see if your true self is guiding you or other sub-selves. If he or she is not focused on freeing yourself before doing anything. Then you can do nothing and accept the communication and relationship effects of this attitude, or you can wonder if you are doing something unconscious that promotes the other person's disrespect. For example, you can wonder what are messages he or she is receiving from you. Option: ask the other person, are you feeling respected enough by me now? Over time, if appropriate, ask about one or more respected zones. Are you feeling respected enough by me as a man or as a piano teacher? Be alert for a polite double message. Or you can assess the awareness bubbles you are exchanging. Significant one up and one down are messages are often promoted by one person or no person bubble, which is a symptom of disabled true self. Option: use awareness, meta talk, and empathetic listening to seek spontaneous versus dutiful mutual two-person bubbles. Notice A. How you feel about the other person, and B. How receiving these messages affects you. Typically implied one up and one down are messages cause irritation, hurt, frustration, resentment, and perhaps aggression or distancing in the receiver, especially if the sender denies the non-equal respect attitudes. All of this diminish communication effectiveness. Once you notice these two things, you can decide whether you use an assertive I message with your partner, factually describing A. the R message you are getting, and B. how it affects you. Might sound like: name, I'm feeling disrespected by you now, or name, I feel like you are putting my needs, opinions, worth above you own right now, and that makes me uncomfortable. Or you may ask: name, whose needs are the most important to you now, yours or mine? The best answer is: I feel your needs and mine are equally important. Doing this can lead a win-win problem solving if you are both motivated, guided by yourselves. And now the 7 lessons left and know the 7 lesson 2 skills. The 7 skills of the lesson 2. If if these one up or one down respect messages are frequent, your partner is probably ruled by a well-meaning, myopic false self. See this article after you finish here and response options. What if you don't respect someone? No matter how you try to disguise disrespect in the same zone, your behaviors will leak your attitude and the other person will sense it. In deciding how to handle disrespect, you have several choices. Stay aware that once is lost, respect must be earned. It cannot be demanded, assumed, or expected. You can name the criteria you use to award respect to other people or yourself. Decide whether your true self is guiding you or if your other selves are causing the disrespect. Yourself will usually feel empathy and compassion rather than disapproval and disrespectfully assert opinions or boundaries to reduce any discomfort you feel. Identify what zones your disrespect applies to and decide whether to be honest about your attitude rather than pretend to send a double message. If you choose honesty, recall the principles of offering effective feedback to another person, including the idea that respectful feedback with no hidden agendas is a gift, not an attack or ploy. That's what most people don't understand. Or you can choose to thoughtfully compose an assertive I message and or factual meta comment. Expect resistance and respond with respectful empathetic listening. Then restate your message until you feel heard or decide to do something else. Typical I message: name, your voice tone, facial expressions, and eye contact suggest to me that you don't feel we are equal and dignity of worth as persons. This distracts me from hearing you very well, and I wonder if you talk to me about it. Or name, I'm getting a lot of one up and or one down respect messages from you now, and it's distracting me from hearing you very well. Will you talk to me about this? Typical meta comments is: name, I'm experiencing you as a having a one-person awareness bubble as we talk, and I'm feeling excluded by you. See this article on respect from more perspective after you finish this one. Status check. Do you agree that all adults and kids steadily need to feel enough self-respect or social respect? If not, this concept and article will be of little use. If so, does the idea of automatically decoding non-verbal respect messages in all important social situations make sense to you? To see if it does, try describing and illustrating the concept to another person. Then describe why the concept is useful in assessing communication effectiveness. Also decide if you are willing to start practicing our messages awareness with key adults and kids in your life. If so, stay aware that doing so is not about fault finding, it's about learning to notice a dynamic that can potentially block effective communication. This applies equal to communication among your dedicated subselves. If you are not willing to practice this awareness, suspect that your wise true self is disabled. Option: Either your perspective by learning about the powerful technique of mapping communication sequences upon us. Our messages are one of the 7 or 8 key dynamics that affect most internal and social communication outcomes. If there is there anyone else whom you think would benefit from knowing this our message concept? Growing self-respect, lesson 1, influence in the lesson 2, communication skills of awareness, empathetic listening, and meta-talk can increase the equal R messages you exchange with key communication partners, including with the dynamic subselves that compromise your personality. Recap: all adults and kids need to feel respected. This article describes one of 4 messages we will automatically decode from each other's behavior. Respect messages. 3 possibilities are: you seem to feel one up, your needs, feelings, and opinions are more important than mine. You seem to feel one down, your needs, feelings, and opinions are less important than mine. Or you seem to feel that our needs, feelings, and opinions are equal, valid, and important. When adults or kids get either the first 2 are message effective, communication is unlikely. The unique guidebook Satisfactions integrates the key lesson 2 web articles and resources in this non-profit website and provides many practical resources. Pause, breathe, and recall. Why did you read this article? Did you get what you needed? If not, what do you need? Who's answering these questions? You, wise resident, true self, capital S, or someone else? So, thank you very much for listening to me. Comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell button. For donations or consultations, the email is down below. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye.